Good morning, students. We are reading from CBSE prescribed book for English language and literature, class 10th, first flight. Today we are doing poem Amanda written by Robin Klein. Robin Klein is an Australian author of books for children. She was born on 28 February 1936 in New South Wales. She had her first short story published at the age of 16. Several of her books have been listed for CBCA Children's Book of the Year award. Hating Ellison Ashley, Halfway Across the Galaxy, Turn Left, and Boss of the Pool are some of her famous writings. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. In this stanza, Amanda is getting instructed from her parents, and the tone of the instruction is harsh. It's stern. It is not friendly at all. And the instruction that is given to Amanda is don't bite your nails. This is some instruction that is given to every child in the home that not to bite nails. And then the mother instructs, don't hunch your shoulders. That is, the mother does not want that she should hunch her shoulders down. And then she instructs that she wants her to sit straight. She should not sit lazily and with her shoulders bent. So these are the instructions that the mother is giving to Amanda. Amanda seems to be drooping her body towards one side, and the mother wants that she should adopt the right posture and to sit up straight. And why is the mother doing so? The mother is training her to be presentable in the society, how she should behave, the manner she should have imbibe in her, so that she can be presentable in the society. So the mother is instructing the daughter Amanda and giving instructions about what not to do. And then the last phrase, Amanda, is used with an exclamation mark, which shows that the irritation and frustration of the parent. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Students, if you notice, the second stanza is within the brackets, and this is done to give more emphasis, and this is also called as parenthesis. Parenthesis means that this is not the dialogue of the mother or the instructions coming from mother or parents. It is the imaginary world, the dream world that Amanda lives in. Now she says what? She says that there is languid emerald sea. Now Amanda is living in an imagination, and this imagination she feels that there is a calm sea. Emerald is a precious stone. So she feels that there is a sea which is all green and blue in color, and it is calm, and she is a sole inhabitant, and on this island where the sea is, she is the only inhabitant, only person. There's no other human being over there. And then she says that a mermaid, she finds herself and sees herself as a mermaid. Mermaid means that is an imaginary sea creature with a woman's head and the body with a fish tail. So that is mermaid, and she sees drifting blissfully. Drifting, that is moving leisurely, blissfully, in a state of bliss. So Amanda is not listening to the instructions of her mother because she feels suffocated in those instructions, and then she makes herself go in a dream world, in an imagination where she is not being instructed by anybody. She is on a small island where the where the soft waves are there, the green sea is there, and she imagines herself to be like a joyful mermaid sailing in that sea, and she wants to drift around blissfully like a mermaid does freely. So this world of Amanda is free and contained in itself, and she does not require any other human being, and she feels that a mermaid is a symbol of freedom and wonder. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. In this stanza, the parents are getting trouble. They are getting frustrated. Why? It seems that Amanda neither has finished her no homework, and neither has she, nor has she cleaned her room. So they drag Amanda out of her dream world and give instructions to her that whether she has finished her homework or not, or she has tidied up her room and cleaned her shoes or not. And this shows what, that she has been trained by her parents regarding her surroundings. Like any other parent at your home, also the parents might be giving you instructions. So she is being given instructions about the things, she has been guided about the things surrounding her, so that she can become disciplined in her life. And so the parents are getting troubled, and they are losing their cool as they see that Amanda has not neither has she done her homework, nor has she cleaned her room. So their parents are making her get ready for the life, some disciplines to be acquired by her for her life. So they want her to do all these things. I am an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Now, students, we read that how Amanda does not give reply to her mother, the harsh words of the mother, and she withdraws herself to an imaginary world, and she imagines herself to be an orphan. Now, this is a very depressing thought. The parents are there, but then she wants to be an orphan. Why? Because she feels that she is being confined to the four walls, and she is being continuously nagged by her parents. So she feels frustrated about the continuous questioning of the parents, of the mother. So she wishes what? She goes to the dream world, and she imagines that she is roaming the streets and wandering in the streets, and then she is making some patterns, some designs on the soft sands with the bare feet, and she's making sure that these feet when she's making this design, the feet are going to get dirtier in the sands, but then she loves it, the thought of it, she's happy with it, and she feels that wishes to walk in the sands with the bare feet and create designs and patterns on the soft sand. And she realizes that silence is golden and the freedom is the most sweetest thing in the world. And why does she feel so? Because this is because of the continuous shouting and yelling of the parents that she enjoys this silence, and she feels that she cherishes this silence as well as her freedom to do as she likes in the world of her imagination. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you, Amanda? Students, in this stanza, the parents of Amanda, or let's say the mother of Amanda, stops Amanda from eating chocolate, and she tells her that how she has previously faced a skin disease or a skin problem, acne. So she says that eating chocolates might cause her some problem. And then she notices that Amanda is not listening. Amanda is all lost in a thought. She is ignoring the mother. So the mother gets angry at the carelessness of the daughter, and she wants the attention of daughter when the mother is speaking. So she says that she must not look the other way when the mother or her mother is speaking to her. Now, the idea of not eating chocolates is it indicates that how external beauty is important in the society. It is the role of appearance in the society is given significance in this stanza. I am Rapunzel, I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. In this stanza, Amanda desires to be Rapunzel. Who was Rapunzel? Rapunzel is the name of a German fairy tale character who was made to live alone in a high tower and had very long, beautiful golden hair. She was held captive by a witch who used to come up to the tower by climbing her long hair. The only way one could make a contact with her was only using her long hair. So Amanda wish, I am a Rapunzel. I have not a care, I need not bother about anybody around. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. And if she's going to be Rapunzel, she would be staying in a tower, and that life would be all peaceful, all happy, and she would live quietly alone over there in the tower like Rapunzel used to do. And life would be rare because all people do not get such opportunities to live in a tower alone. So that would be very unusual life, all by yourself, in peace, in happiness. I will certainly never let down my bright hair. Now she adds what? That Rapunzel used to let her hairs down and anybody could enter into the tower. But then she wishes to avoid the fate that was met out to Rapunzel as she is unwilling to let her hair down. She seeks a life which is away from any other human form. She imagines a life that where she should be all alone and peaceful. There's nobody nagging her, there's nobody bothering her, there's nobody imposing things of do's and don'ts on her. So she wants to live by herself and she does not want any other person around her. So she says that I would not do what Rapunzel did. Rapunzel used to let her hair down so that anybody can come in the tower, but then she would not do. She wants to live a free and a peaceful and a happy life. So she imagines this life for herself. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. In this stanza, Amanda's mother instructs Amanda that to look happy. Mother feels that Amanda is distressed, Amanda is upset, so she wants the daughter to look happy, to look cheerful. And she says, stop that sulking at once. Sulking means to be angry or upset about something. You're always so moody. So the mother says that the girl is moody as her mood is always shifting. She shows mood variations time and again. Why does she say so? Because Amanda is not reacting when the parents are talking to Amanda. Amanda is not reacting. She's all lost in the dream world. And the parents feel that the daughter is annoyed. And that is the reason the mother says that you are moody. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. Now, Amanda, who was all lost in a dream world and found that silence is better, silence is golden. She did not say anything. So parents felt that they got concerned that what society will think, what society is going to perceive, that the child always remains in a foul mood. So this says that anyone would think that I nagged at you, that the society will think that I constantly nag you. Nag means to irritate by complaining about his or her attitude again and again. So they are much worried about what the picture of parents or what the picture of them would come in the society. So they are asking her what? They are asking her to be happy, to be cheerful, to not to make faces, and they are asking her that she should look cheerful, otherwise people will blame her mother of nagging and troubling her continuously.